Hello, welcome to Can Angels Fly? I'm Nancy, and today I'm here just to talk. I want to talk to you about a particular subject, and it's the subject of channeling. I should have looked up the definition, but I did not. So I'm going to just kind of make up a definition based on what I think channeling is. Channeling is the process of gaining or channeling is the process of being connected with a source outside of yourself and allowing that source to use your vessel to provide information or to perform some act. Now, channeling to some degree, I guess, could be related or compared with possession. The difference between possession and channeling is that possession suggests that one has lost control of their faculties. What do I mean by faculties? I mean their bodily functions, their cognitive thinking, and something outside of themselves that has housed itself within a living being's vessel, person, is more like a puppet to whatever entity has housed itself within that person. Where channeling is, well, relative to channeling, is that a person still has control of their faculties, including their base morals and values or core morals and values, etc., etc. However, that person, a physical being, is, how can I say, it's not so much that being steps in, but it directs, instructs, and inform the individual, but it doesn't change or transform or control that bearers, the person's physical body. And I should have looked up the definition, but that's what I think channeling is, as well as a close relative possession. And I bring that up and make that distinction because we're going to be talking about channeling. So I'm not talking about someone taking control of you and using you like a puppet. No. Channeling is a tool between the seen and the unseen realms. Why am I making this video at this time? Well, it is my personal belief that we are in what we may call the end times, the final days, so a lot of miraculous things may happen. A lot of false prophets and different things are going to pop up. And so it is important to be able to know how to identify what you are experiencing, what you are seeing, or what you are hearing. And another reason I decided to make this video now is because it's a Sunday and I'm just laying back, relaxing. I've had a very eventful day thus far. And so I'm back in the mode. I was back in the mode of kicking back and relaxing on this Sunday. And I was YouTubing. And I came across a channel that a person was channeling and sharing a message that they were receiving from whatever entity was the source of their information that they were connected to, and was channeling the information that that entity knew of. Ugh. It's hard to talk, especially without a script. Um, and as I watched this person channeling, I was like, maybe me, Nancy, is a little egotistical and know it all, that kind of thing. Because what I was seeing was not what I have experienced channeling to be. Now, that was like the second time I've seen someone channel here on YouTube. So after I get through making this video, I think I will go back and find some more channels that show people channeling and delivering messages. As I mentioned a moment ago, I wanted to make this video so at this point in time, because we're in a critical time in the history of humanity in which there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. I know you've heard there is the age of deception. We're in the age of deception. We've been in the age of deception. Look around. Everything is deceptive. Nothing is real, actual, factual. So how can you know what is truth? What is true? So I'm going to tell you two stories, at least, about my life and how I believe I know what channeling is, so that you will have a reference, so that when you encounter a person that's channeling, you may be able to refer back to the reference I'm going to give you to make a determination to discern if this person is really channeling. I'm point this out right now because you know I'll forget. The term channeling don't have a definition once again. But when I think of the term channeling, channel, I think of a TV set or a station, radio station. The channel that one may select to listen to or view is something that, how can I say it? The channel is a wavelength that is in which, or the platform is a platform, but it's a wavelength in which something is presented. Channeling. I bring that up because channeling is, how can I say this? It's a little complicated. I'm going to just finish this little side note, and maybe it'll make sense when I tell you the second story. I'm going to try to keep the story short, but just so you get the idea. So the side note, in completing the side note relative to the term channeling, is it is a wave. It's an energetic message is what I'm trying to get to. An energetic message in the side note. Now, the two stories I'm going to share with you is to just build up a scenario or scenarios. And I believe that you'll be able to understand what I'm trying to say by the end of this video. So I do ask you to be patient and to ride the wave with me. I'm going to stop. It's an announcement I keep forgetting to make, and I want to make it in this video. And I'll continue to make it in my videos here on Can Angels Fly Tarot, because I am beginning a new channel. And the name of that channel is Heaven's, apostrophe S, Heaven's Vital Fire. I ask you to go to that channel, even though I don't have any videos there yet, and just subscribe. Because I think I have to have like 100 subscribers before I can really do anything. So I really need any of my current subscribers here on Can Angels Fly Terror to subscribe to this other channel, my second channel. And it is called Heavens, apostrophe VS, Heavens Vital Fire. When I began to upload videos on that channel, before it, I'll make an announcement and let it be known to why I'm making, I've made that channel. One is that YouTube is very restrictive, and so I want to get ahead of their restrictions. Okay, I stated that. Now let me go back to talking about the art, I'll say, of channeling. I've already used two terms, the term channeling as basically getting an energetic message and sharing it, versus possession. I don't want people to get it twisted. That's why I brought it up. Possession is where a foreign entity enters a person's physical vessel and takes control of it and work them like a puppet. We're not talking about that. We're talking about channeling. I also was talking about how I think of channeling like that which we refer to on the TV, the actual channel. It is a wave platform or a platform wave in which to deliver a presentation, message, TV program, whatever. So it is not, the reason why I brought that up is because when I saw this person channeling somebody, I don't even know the person name they were channeling. I don't know that person though. They appeared to be highly conscious. It was merely words. Words. The message was words. I'll make it make sense, hopefully, by the end of this video. Now, the first story I like to share, the scenario, is once upon a time, I moved into a new home in a new community on a new block. After being there for a few months, a neighbor a couple of doors down from my new home knocked on my door, introduced herself, and told me that God told her to come see me. I would bring her to him. And of course, I was shocked, y'all know. But I was like, okay. And I did what I knew to do in human form, and that was merely Bible study and to answer any questions that she had and to minister. Now, this young woman at the time that I met her, she came a mighty long way. When I met her, she could barely read, and she was a wild girl in the street. It changed her life. That's story number one, and I say that to, I guess I got to add this. Why was I capable of fulfilling that duty? Well, it was because I had a considerable amount of time in the church. That was something that she didn't know of personally. She was merely following the instructions of the divine when she heard her message. And because the message was so strange, I obeyed and followed through on what I knew to do in the physical. I guess I should say this too. At the time that she contacted me, I had already, we can say, fallen out of the church. I was tired of the ending redundancy of nothing and had began my journey to where I am today. But I did not let that transition that I was going through stand in the way. It was obviously a duty I had to fulfill, and therefore I did it. of course, in the blind. Just like she was in the blind, I was in the blind, just was going with the flow. We rode the wave, and it did what it did. So I bring that story up, that once upon a time, to share how I was in the church. I learned some things. I came out to church. I learned some things. And, oh, my memory's so bad, I forget. What was I talking about? Just ride the wave with me, y'all. We just talking on this Sunday early evening. So, I guess I have to go to story number 2 to make it make sense. Now, this was some years later, after my sister, I'll say, had matured in Christ, in church, however you like to label it. And she asked me to go to church with her. I was like, I'm not really in the church anymore. And she just insisted, so no problem. I go to church with her one Sunday, and something amazing happened. And I count this experience as one of my most powerful, I think I talked about it here on YouTube, I don't know, sessions of channeling. It was something else I was supposed to say about the first story. I forgot. Maybe I'll remember. So let me try in brief to tell you about this story. This once upon a time. I go to church with my sister, not my biological sister. We'll say it labeled sister in Christ. I go to church with her, and I'm sitting there like, like being here, done that, but being supportive. I'm sitting there like, oh. So what I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to try to share it briefly, so it may sound broken up a little bit, just trying to get the scenario, lined up for you so you can see. So it's not from my perspective, but it's from her perspective as well as the other church members' perspective about the next events that take place during that church service. I was told that the pastor was preaching, and the church was doing what church folks do. And they said I just stood up, looked up to the sky as if I was listening to something. They said then all of a sudden I took off and just started walking. And it was a medium-sized church. It wasn't just a storefront church. It was medium-sized, I say. So maybe a church that could hold, I'll just estimate, under 1,000 people. So medium church. And so they said I just stood up, looked up to the sky. Well, she did. Looked up to the sky as if I was listening to something. She said she was talking to me. And it's like I wasn't there. Like no one was there. It didn't matter what was going on. And she said whatever was taking place was drawing people's attention, even though the pastor was praying, ministering. Even the pastor. And it's funny, I chuckle because she was talking about how I was just drew so much attention. And so I could just imagine the church listening to the pastor preach, talk, do his thing. And the person just stand up in the church and looking up at the sky like just gone. And so that would be a disruptive action within the church. Inappropriate. She says that I just turned and walked and started walking. So I walked down the aisle to the outside perimeter of the church floors. And she said I just kept my eyes up. I kept looking up. She said I never once looked down. Now, the rest of the story that I tell is the story that was told by not only her, but the other people and the pastor. Said that I just looked up as if I was being spoken to. And they said I just walked. Said I just walked and walked. They said I walked the whole perimeter of the church, lap after lap after lap after lap. They said by the time I did that second lap, said people started falling out on the floor, just collapsing. And so there were people in the church that wanted to come grab me and stop me because, of course, they were seeing me as being disrespectful of the pastor, the church, the service of God. And the pastor told them, don't touch her. Said, don't touch her. Let her do what she's doing. And another interesting fact related to that experience was that when the people, as I was walking and they were falling out, remember my head was always lifted. My eyes were to the ceiling, to the sky, to whatever was speaking to me, that I was listening to. That was everybody's perspective that I talked to, that I was listening to something. So I want to say, but like it's about a second lap, people falling out, and I just kept walking and walking and walking. They said, and I just started walking fast. Well, when the first people fell out, they said that I was stepping over the people. I wasn't even looking down. They said there was no way I could have seen the people. I wasn't even looking down, and I would just walk. I was walking and stepping over the people, and I never broke my course. Kept walking the same line, all around, lap after lap. They said as I continued to walk, more people kept falling out. They said I started walking faster and faster and faster, and there was people all over the place. So I just kept stepping and walking over them. It was also reported that by the third or so lap, I started speaking a language nobody knew of. So that I was speaking, I was actually communing with something. And I was talking, and they said people were falling out. When I'm not gonna rush the story. When the people started falling out, the pastor had the choir take the choir box or whatever you call it, and he had them begin to sing and praise. They said the choir went, I don't want to jump, choir worship, praying. Pastor stopped preaching and got filled what they would say, the Holy Ghost. Church was on fire. Interesting. So I walked. More people fell out. The church was on fire. People falling out everywhere, crying, turn around. Other people were speaking in this strange tongue. Now, imagine, I'm not a big churchgoer, but this is my once upon a time. This is a story that made a real deep impact upon me, and I believe that is directly related to the energy of channeling. That's why I'm sharing, so that you can use these stories that I share as a reference. So, so much to talk about. What else was it? As I continued to walk, now I say, what else is it? Because you got to remember, I'm telling this story not from me, but from my girlfriend, my sister in Christ, the other parishioners, and the pastor of this church that probably held up to about 1,000 people. House was full that day too. House was full. And so I'm walking. They said I was walking so fast they just thought I would fall over. Everybody is touched. You know, like when you hear the story about the Pentecostal flame, that's the kind of thing I was thinking about when I guess I can go here, when I woke up. I finally woke up out of this like trance-like state. still on the side, the owls. I was like, what am I doing here? When I woke up, church on fire. People are talking in this strange language. Number one, I didn't understand. Like, why? What am I here? Last thing I remember sitting in the pew, like, oh, I can't wait till this is over. This child got a lot growing up to do. That's what I'm thinking about her, but I'm here. Okay, it's going to be over eventually. Church be going on forever. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, what's going on? So now I'm like kind of embarrassed. And so I go to scooching back on over there in the pew I was in. And she is like really not, she not affected like everybody, but she crying and stuff, but both doing church, she crying in the black church anyway. And so I'm like, what's going on? She looked at me like, what you mean what's going on? What's going on? What was I, doing all the way over there on the other side of the church? And so she was like, you kidding me? I was like, no, I was so confused. Anyway, that whole process did what it did. And had an effect on whoever had an effect on, the way it had an effect on, whole church on fire. Folks laying everywhere. People just stuck, with their eyes to the sky. Strange language going off. Pastor stuck as well. It'd be interesting to meet the people now. See them now. And I bring that story up, and I share that story for a reason. Relative to channeling, the subject of channeling. What I, over the years, of course, I thought about that one experience frequently. And I brought up the term possession because, like I said, I wasn't even aware that I had got up. I wasn't aware that I had walked for hours, a couple of hours around the perimeter of this church. I wasn't aware that people had fallen out everywhere over the pew. They was everywhere, and the ones on the floor I was stepping over. It wasn't nobody to go lay the little scarf over a lady's legs when they felt like everybody was out or stuck or speaking this strange language I heard when I came through. I had no idea. And was I possessed at that time? And if so, by what? By what? I brought up possession and defined it as, my basic understanding of what possession is. And of course it took time, but over time I realized, hey, this was, it was power. It was a power. How can I say this? It was, I'll say, a divine, holy divine energy that channeled through me to get that energy into that church house. I didn't even want to be there. And the people were moved. They were changed. It seems for the better. They were also very shocked, confused, and perplexed, but not in a negative way. It was just that who has experienced that? That was some serious stuff. It was serious stuff. Pastor shock. So people just thrown for a loop. Where am I trying to go? I'm trying to talk about the possession, because that would be the first thing. Like, what was that? What happened there? And for it to affect the mass, the whole congregation. And it was like the words, the conversation after the fact, after everybody woke up. And so I guess I'll share some of the things that I heard, just a few things, a state of refreshment, a state of clarity, or like being broke out of something. Oh, that's another thing. I know I want to share. That's what I was forgetting. I think in the first part, uh, broken out of something. As I mentioned, I had been in the church, came out of the church, was tired of the church, was already on my way to this place where I am on my spiritual journey. God dang, if I ain't forget again. That's another thing. Oh, let's see. It's so much to talk about. Okay, what was I going to say? Because I talked about forgetting. I talked about forgetfulness quite a bit, and it's relative. It's different types of forgetfulness for different purposes. In this case, when I talk about, I know I'm jumping because I'm having a hard time orchestrating it. But this time, when I talk about forgetfulness, it's in the context of not knowing or being aware on the physical plane so much. Whenever an entity has spoken to me, whether we can say from the light or from the dark, in just a general conversation, we'll say, a suggestion, you can recall the conversation, the dialogue, what it was about, the subject matter, the suggestion. But when divine himself communes with you, for the most part, it's not in words. That's what I'm trying to get. The devil, I'll say, or dark energy, evil energy, works in a different manner. If you pick up, if you frequent here, I talk about both sides, because I had both sides of the experience. But when a dark energy it's more physical. When divine talk, it's not words. And that's what's talking about channeling. Let me see if I can straighten up like this. Channeling. Remember, it is a platform, a wave platform in order to deliver whatever you're going to view or listen to. So the channeling, let's say, of divine energy, or whoever you get the message from, that's far from what I know. It's more light energy. Light beings are divine. I don't want to get it complicated because there's a whole bunch out here. It is, goodness gracious, this is really hard to describe. It is it's a wave. It's a wave. It's what I'm trying to get. The channeling is just like the channel, the wave. It's a wave. It's a platform. Channeling is the platform. And the communication, the communing is the download itself is a wave of energy. That energy possesses the message, the knowledge that you will obtain, or a person is obtaining. At that time, I spoke of not being aware. No, I was completely unaware. I was being guided, but how can I say, being guided, the walking, the talking in the strange language, my eyes being raised to the ceiling of the sky was a part of that energetic download. The disbursement of that message was given to that select congregation for whatever reason. For whatever reason. Not by my choice, not by my selective doing, but as a command from divine energy. And I, by myself, could not have delivered the message. Remember, it wasn't in English. in the English language. It wasn't in words. As I walked, there was a disbursement of energy. That was another thing people were sharing. The disbursement of energy that broke something, broke some type of delusion or deception. It was all something that a person, them, me, had to process. So it wasn't in that day. Of course, we had, because like concern, like what was that? But it had to be processed and digested. It was energy more than anything, not words. So an example, I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm sure. Now, I know I've been rambling trying to figure out how to structure this and share, but this is about channeling and being able to identify when you are experiencing a channel, a channeler, channeling. Is that when I was walking those laps and people were falling out, it was a disbursement of that message in energy form. Those that I can say were struck with the message, the energy message, threw them down. Stop. I'm gonna give you an example. An example. I can't say. When they say when a person see God, they would drop dead. Or they hear in the Bible say in the King James version, you grow gray headed and drop dead. You can't stand in His presence like that. So channeling, I was the channeler. I was channeling a particular energy. That energy came through me and branched out or sparked out and went and did what it do to who was supposed to do it to. They fall out. They get stuck in whatever conversation or dialogue is taking place for their. So everybody's saying, from what I'm getting, everybody was getting different messages. Maybe some of it was collectively the same, but we're getting different messages. And why would that be? Because everybody got different paths in life to travel. And so when I say all this is a rambling, is that a channeler, the person that's the vessel, doesn't have power over the message. The delivery of the message, the power, the delivery of the message is not in their hands. They are merely a vessel. So how can I say it? Let's go back to possession. If it was a dark energy, evil, Satan, the devil, that had infiltrated me, that would suggest then that I would have to be one with him. It's that type of energy in order to be infiltrated. Not only for me to be infiltrated, but for it to be dispersed from me to all those other people. They too would have to be in line with Satan, his energy, his way, his vibration. Oh goodness, if I could say this, because it's so important. Just when I saw that video, it kind of upset me a little bit. Everything upset me. I'm sensitive. Not really. But I'm gonna say divine. But then it's how also Satan conversates or talks. He long-winded, I'll say that. He long-winded. With the divine energy, it's much subtler. And like, I'll give you an example. Whenever you see God, Christ, divine, divinity, being displayed in artistic redemptions, am I saying it right? Not redemptions, depictions, being depicted in art. It usually is accompanied by a halo, a white, bright light. That halo or white, bright light is, again, that energetic wave. It is pure. It is concentrate, not concentrated. It's concentrate, like a compression of energy that contains information. It is direct. It's not long-winded. It's direct, and it's clear, and it's eye-opening, and its ability to break shackles. The vessel, the channeler, the messenger, has nothing to do with that white light that comes upon them and is dispersed out to the masses. There is really no need for words. Well, in the case, like my story, story number 2, no need for words because it is energy. We use words, they are limiting. We use words, just like I do here, and we construct a story to the best of our abilities and capabilities to share, to persuade, to, to make sense, to communicate. But channeling is what I'm trying to get to. And then I'm going to let you go. Because, oh my God, this video is a lot longer than I wanted it to be. Couldn't figure them words out. The right words. But channeling is a divine art. And it is only allotted to that which divine finds it needs to use that art. And it's not so much the words, because how can I say it? It's not a physical, worldly communication. It is spiritual energy or spiritual message being downloaded and manifest into the physical realm. And so that's where we get caught with the words. So I don't know how to explain it. It was just when I saw the lady channeling, and I thought back to the other one I had seen. That's not what I knew channeling to be, or channeling is. It is energy, and it's vibration that permeates from the channeler, the messenger, to the receiver. It's almost like, and even the energy itself is not like, even if we put it in words, it's not like the words we speak. I wish I could give an example. I'll go back to when I published my video on a prophetic message, in which I was in the company of divine, as well as I say, spirit energy of other humans in this world. And that experience itself was like that energetic download I talk about. And in my mind, because I wasn't speaking with my physical mouth to divine, but in my mind, I'm like, what is this? What's going on? I felt fine, but something was happening, and I was having these seizures, which I knew they weren't seizures, and I'm just like, what's going on? And so divine ain't just going to leave me in that situation, or nobody else. So rather than ignoring me and me humanly suffering from fear from the experience, he, it, she, the divine energy just said, just pray. Like I said, it's not really long-winded, it's very direct. But even just pray, although I could perceive it in human words, it was a energy. And it's so direct that I give up. I give up. All I ask is for you to be cautious when receiving any spiritual messages, even from me. Blah, 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 blah. When you hear others channeling, blah, 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 just be careful. Because I ain't going to try no more. I give up. Thank you for coming to Can Angels Fly and hear me, Nancy, try to explain channeling. So you know. Until the end. Not to the end. It ain't the end. Until next time. Bye.